Here we are live again, unapologetically significant, coming back at you. Whoo, today is just going to be,
It's gonna be a day.
But before we jump into that, how you doing, Shelley?
I am doing glorious.
Glorious.
I know. It's just like
Ooh,
it's all about the reframe. I'm big on
ooh, ooh,
reframing, and
reframe.
yes.
I like
So
it. I
we
like
could
it.
talk about things that could be a little bit painful or
Mm-hmm.
headwinds that we run into in life, in corporate, and wherever. But at the end of the day, we got options.
Yeah.
We got
Options are a beautiful
options.
thing. Beautiful thing. Options.
So
Gotta love
with that being said, that's what makes me feel so great is because I have options.
them. Okay. Okay.
How about you?
I'm doing well. Doing very well.
Mm-hmm.
Life is good. A lot of good things on the horizon.
Yep.
So, hey, got the podcast coming at you, and you better buckle up today.
Buckle up, Buttercup. It's a real one today.
This podcast will be a little bit different, but I know you'll get a lot out of it. So, we're going to be talking about corporate America.
Yes.
And just the different aspects and bringing some light to the whole situation of having to work for someone in a corporate environment.
Yeah. And it's interesting because not everybody's supposed to be an entrepreneur, right?
Right. Right.
We need janitors, we need doctors, we need
Yep.
teachers, we need admins, we need sales directors, and
Yep.
on and on and on. So there's a place for that, and a lot of us fall into that category.
Yep. Yep. And I think that the understanding of your position and why you are in it is critical to being happy and being able to stay in it and keep your health.
That part.
So,
And your sanity, health and sanity.
Yep,
That's
yep.
key.
So we're going to cover a lot of that today, but I'm sure you've heard that people don't quit jobs, they quit bosses.
Absolutely. In most cases. Okay. I've had the pleasure of being in corporate America for 15, 20 years
Ooh,
now.
pleasure.
I know,
Okay.
the pleasure. It's
Okay,
options.
yeah,
Reframe. Okay.
Okay.
And I've had both. I've been in some companies that I'm like, it's definitely the organization.
Mm-hmm.
But 9 times out of 10, I found when I left a company, it was because it was who I reported to directly.
Mm-hmm.
It was my boss.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about bosses, organizations, and employees. We're going to hit it from all different angles just to kind of give you a different spin, different take on it, some things that you just may not have considered,
Right.
but are vital in terms of your survival and keeping your health. So,
All right, let's get this party started.
all right. I think when we talk about a job, I think one of the biggest things is expectations.
Yeah.
Because, you get a job and you go through the interview process, whatever that's like, and, you get a job, you get in there. We all have expectations. And the question becomes,
On both sides, this is the employee and the
Yep.
corporation.
yep, what should those expectations be? Because I think most people have it skewed, the
How so?
employee. Because I think people take jobs, they expect everything to be rosy. They expect to be welcomed like they're the president of the whatever. They have all these expectations and it's going to go smooth and this and that, and they know what they're doing and they're going to take good care of me. They care about me. All that stuff that a human being
Yeah.
would think about,
Well,
which is natural.
That's natural. And then part of the fallacy could be that you come into a corporation, it's like, we're just a big happy family. We're just a family. And I'm like, family. Like, no.
You know what goes on in families.
Ooh, yeah, a lot of dysfunction.
Yes.
So I think that could be part of the issue. And also the communication of how we're communicating those expectations. I think those go in tandem.
Right. Expectations are an interesting thing because a lot of people will live and die by expectations. But you're going to have to be fluid and flexible with expectations, because you're going to be kind of on a mission where you're gathering information to see what this company is really like. In an interview and online, you get all the marketing stuff that makes it sound like they're wonderful, and they may be in some areas, but
because it's just like social media. No one's going to tell you all of the bad tea. They're not going to be like, ooh, the bathrooms don't flush properly. My manager be tripping every once in a while, and I got to do stupid reports that are manual. There's no automation built in. No one's going to share that online. That's something you have to experience.
So it comes down to, at least initially, you're on a reconnaissance mission.
Oh, I love that.
I
mean, the term, yes.
You need to figure out, see what's going on. You need to understand before being understood.
Be curious.
Yes, be very curious. And just see how things operate. And to the point of really understanding what your job is and what's expected of you.
Well, I'm going to go from the other side of this, because I've been in a leadership role where I had to develop KPIs, or key performance indicators, for a team, 2 departments actually, where we hired them, but we had no metrics for them to show what is good. What does good look like? What does that behavior look like? So a lot of that, again, the employee has some accountability for understanding the expectation, but the employer has to know what the expectation that they're going to be graded on, so then they can articulate that to the employees so they can be successful. If that's not done, that's a major red flag. Okay? Red. I mean, unless it's a pilot program and you're walking into it knowing that, but every corporation, every department should have some type of mock set of rules that shows you how to be successful.
Should already be done.
If not, you're setting yourself up for a pit, or a very short tenure with the company. Because how do you hit, the bullseye in the dark? Like, how do you? It's impossible.
Right. And I think I want to take it back a step.
Here for it.
Recruiting.
Okay.
I've worked for, 4 or 5 major Fortune 100 companies. Only one of them knew how to recruit. The others were just a joke. You get these questions that, someone, a senior in high school or a freshman in college could whiz through it and fake it till they make it. So, that whole area needs to be improved. But put that aside. The questions that you get when you're interviewing tells you a lot about that company. Because if you're looking at these things going, my kid could answer that. Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah, the question isn't really even relative to my skill set or to what you think is the job and responsibility.
Exactly. So that's where you get some of your first clues just on that. Again, all the social media, website stuff, they got all these experts that are putting that together to lure you in, basically. So you got to be smarter than that. So just wanted to say, those questions tell you a lot. The time you get. If I'm applying for a job and you give me 10, 15 minutes, which I do know a couple people that got that.
Yeah, that's not a good sign.
Flag.
Or they don't ask you questions that are, again, directly correlated to the role that you're going to be doing.
Right, exactly. So, all right, you pass that. Excuse me. You get in and, back to expectations. Personally, for me, I always kept my expectations about as low as I could.
For the company?
Yep.
Yeah.
I didn't expect a whole lot from them. Now, if they showed me more, then I was surprised and I felt good. But I'm certainly not going to put them up here and then find out they're down here, okay? Because I'm just setting myself up for failure. Now, you may look at it differently.
I look at it like dating.
Ooh.
You go out on a date and you're like, ooh, this is fancy. This is great. Now, you're getting that person's best self during, you know.
Hopefully.
And then, or not. But in most cases, they're trying to present themselves as all their high qualities. But over time, that second or third date, they start to really get comfortable, and then you start seeing things, good or bad,
Right.
but you start to see who they really are after that first couple of initial date.
That's true. That's true.
I look at it too. I think my my expectations are a little bit low, but it can be challenging because they come in with all these wonderful things. They're telling you all the things, and you're hearing, you know, oh, I got stock option. Oh, I have opportunity for growth. Oh, they have training. Oh, I get to travel. All of these things. So you almost have to come in with a set of questions, like you're interviewing them as much as they're interviewing you, to make sure it's a good fit. Now, if this is something you just need a paycheck to get past the holidays, none of this really matters. You know, then it comes back to the bad boss thing and knowing the expectations.
True. Ooh, bad bosses.
Yeah, bad bosses. They suck.
That takes us into our next segment, why people leave jobs.
Yeah.
The stats are
Let's hear it.
57, excuse me, I don't know what's going on with my voice. 57% of people that quit jobs quit because of their manager. 57%, that's over half the people.
Because there's a lot of mishires. You know, the way people typically, in my personal experience, have gotten promoted, it's based on them being a top performing sales rep, right? But just because you know how to sell anything and everything and you're at the top, you know, top 5%, doesn't mean you're a good leader.
No.
Doesn't mean you have zero management skills. You're an individual contributor, and you can do your job to the best of your ability, and you're killing the game. Wonderful, great. But that does not automatically qualify you to lead a team.
No.
And I think that is the biggest issue in corporate America.
That's the number one fallacy right there, that a top performer can manage people. Because what does it take to manage people?
Emotional intelligence, respect, understanding, open-minded, trust,
all that stuff.
empathy,
life experience. If you have no life experience, how are you going to manage others' lives?
Right? Yeah, and their lives, because as a leader, not only do you have these 12 people on your team, but you have all the dynamics of their personal life that that they bring to work every day. That now you're privy to, and you have to understand how to manage that as well. And if you don't have the life experience or academic background or training, then it's going to be an epic fail, and you may find yourself in this position where you have a high turnover rate on your team because people are like, dude, life is too short to be dealing with a jerk.
Yeah.
And you spend the bulk of your time at work.
Yep, exactly.
So now I got to be in a freaking hostile situation because I need a paycheck? Boo.
Right. And, you know, bad bosses. Again, I'm going to touch a little bit on expectations. Now, people have expectations of their manager or their boss. You know,
we expect them to be smarter than us.
Smarter than us.
At least.
They know everything about the company. Yep. They can answer all our questions. They can treat us right.
Yep. They understand compensation, how I'm getting paid.
Yeah, all that stuff and more. And I want you to step back just for a second.
I'm stepping back. I'm listening.
And just think about this for a second. In a corporation, in the hierarchy, there are a lot of broken people. There are a lot of people who have not worked on themselves one iota. Not one iota. Okay? And a lot of the expectations that I think we all come in with is that they have a level of intelligence and have done sufficient enough work to be able to interact with us in a very professional way. And that's a fallacy. That's a fallacy because they're not. So my thing is, how can I expect someone to really be on their A game when they've never worked on their game? It just don't work.
It does. When you say it like that, it don't even make sense.
It's crazy. I mean, if you go all the way to the top of corporations, what are they looking at? You know, CEOs and all them.
All the C-suite.
Yep, yep. What are they looking at? Shareholders.
Mm-hmm.
Is your name shareholder? No.
Yep.
Money. It starts with a dollar sign. That's shareholder. Okay.
Yep.
That's what they're looking at. And they'll get that any way they can.
Yep.
And you are expendable.
You are.
Okay. So people come in, oh, well, you know, they're going to take care of me. Well, if you fit into what they want to do,
Yeah.
yes. But it's your expectation. You can't expect someone whose tank is half empty to drive 500 miles.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just not going to work. You're going to run out of gas. Okay, that makes no sense. So by going in, and there's nothing wrong with having expectations now, but you got to temper those and realize who you're dealing with.
Right.
Okay, and for some reason, a lot of corporations, they have it so one-sided between when it comes to the age demographic. Young is cheap,
Yeah.
so that's what they go for.
Yeah.
And it wasn't always like that. Okay, if you go back a number of years, it wasn't always like that. There was a healthy blend, so that you had people with life experience, people that had worked on themselves, that could mentor, could help other people, some of the younger people, but it was skewed towards more experience. Now it's skewed the other way. Let me grab you as soon as you come out of college,
Yeah.
where you don't know a damn thing other than when the bar opens, and I'm going to put you in a leadership position after a year. What?
Yeah, and when you have that, there are some exceptions to that rule where you're just extremely seasoned. I don't know if you had
Old soul.
old soul, if you had parents in corporate America that you've just, you've kind of adopted some of their philosophies on how to navigate those waters. But a lot of it is, dang, I just totally lost my train of thought. I started thinking about my parents and how I learned from their behaviors after being with the same company for 30 plus years. I adopted that work ethic. It was just innately in me. And you may have some younger folks that are like that, but
Far and few between.
it's far and few in between. It's like you really have to question it. And if you are one of those people, I hate to be the one to say this, but coming from leadership, the both of us, and business owners, you typically will put people in those positions that they can mold. I'm not going to say manipulate, but I will say mold, because you don't have a benchmark. There's not a reference point that you can go back, and the moral compass could be massaged, if you will. And yeah, you gotta kind of look at that, and if that's your situation and you want to take advantage of that moment, then you need to make sure you're doing what you have to do to do some of that work.
Right.
Not only on yourself, but within the company too, and take extra training and find you an older mentor, or someone that not older in age, but somebody that has more tenure than yourself, that you can kind of, mimic. You can mimic their behavior or see what worked, trial and error, and see what, who you need to talk to and where you need to go, and start building your internal network to ensure your success in the company.
Right.
But hiring, I'm against it unless it's just truly a freaking unicorn of an employee, to hire somebody that's not as seasoned as someone else. But then it comes into the emotional intelligence.
Yep.
Like, am I going to put you in a position just because you've been with the company for 5 years, but you're a complete and utter jerk? Like, people don't respect you because you tell it like it is all the time. Like, there's no easing into it. There's no decorum. There's none of that. Like, I would be setting myself for, again, a high turnover rate, and the company has to pay for that. So, anyways, back to you with the young folks. Go ahead.
So, again, the young folks, they don't have the life experience. So when it comes to, one of the things they say is that the biggest challenge for managers is having difficult conversations.
Yep.
Okay.
Difficult. That's in life too.
Yeah.
It all correlates.
Yep. Yep. Exactly. And when you look at it, okay, let's look at it. I need to have a difficult conversation with someone. Number one, and I firmly believe this, if you have not gained their respect, their trust, and know a handful of things about them personally, you do not have the right to have the conversation with them.
Nope.
You're setting them up for failure. That's what, and yourself.
And you're setting yourself to be on America's Most Hated. Yes.
And the
Absolutely.
word will spread quickly.
Quickly. Yes. Water cooler talk would be amazing.
So, having a difficult conversation, if I know you and we trust each other, we respect each other, why can't we have a difficult conversation? Why can't we? At least we can go down that path and not reach a brick wall right away. And it's the same thing with performance. How do you expect to get performance out of someone?
We don't know what motivates them.
Yeah, you don't even know what motivates them. You have no idea. And you got this old school way of thinking where people, well, I don't want to get too close to them, and I don't want this, and I don't want that. What are you, from the 1950s?
Yeah.
I mean, come on, give me a break. Things have changed. You need to get to know people. People buy from people that they like. Guess what? People will perform for people they like.
Yeah. You talk about discretionary effort.
Yep.
I used to get that question, like, how do you get your team to perform? How do you get them to turn around? I'm like,
don't be a jerk.
Don't be a jerk. Listen, Linda, listen.
People will tell you everything you need to know if you listen.
If you make them feel safe.
Safe. That's it. It's gotta
Emotional
be a safe
safety is a thing in personal and professional.
Yep.
And there is a thin line before you cross the line, but you got to figure that out.
Yep.
I don't want to hear all their intimate business, what they do after 9 o'clock. But at the same time, certain things I need to know, like what's their why? Like, why are you here? Why are you in this role? What did you do before?
Right.
Do you have a family? Not everybody has kids. Okay, so that ain't it. I have a dog. Oh no, I'm saving up to pay off my college debt. I want to buy a house. I want to move up in corporate America. I see myself in there. That way you can use that as a leader. You can use that as a motivating factor of getting them to do what they need to do, or tie that into a work experience and make it fun, make it not so transactional. Like that's not showing up and typing in these keys and then I'm leaving. Like at the end of the day, I know we had a stat on like what people want to feel like they belong. And it was in the 90s. 90% of people are with companies or groups because they want a sense of belonging. Right. Now, if you can do that as a leader, I mean, more power to you. Yeah. Like, you're going to see not only the performance kick up, but you have a tie-in to know what motivates that employee to work.
Right. With my teams, we would have a group meeting, and then I'd go talk to each one individually. Because how are you going to find out on anything? You have got to be yourself as a leader. You need to be vulnerable to the extent where you can communicate with the person. Okay? It's not all about what you're trying to get out of them. It's a two-way street. They need to learn some stuff about you. Yeah. Let some of it out of what you're about. Like she said, you with these people a lot. Whichever side of the ledger you're on, management or not management, you're together an awful lot. So why not get to know each other, have a great business relationship, which then a lot of times turns into a personal relationship, a professional personal relationship.
Yeah. And this is for both sides. This is not just for leaders. This is for the employee too. You need to know who you're working for. And that starts at your direct report, like your management, and then their leaders. You gotta, like, again, you're at work 10, 12, 8, whatever hours plus every day. Right. That's somebody, y'all kind of go together. Yep. So you need to, at the bare minimum, be able to work efficiently and then figure out how to optimize that. Like, you don't have to love everybody. Right. You have to respect and understand them, and it makes your job so much easier when you understand how your manager works, how the organization works, what they deem is important. And then you as an individual can figure out how you're going to tie that in on what's your why, like why you're there and what your purpose is within the organization. Because you're going to run into bad bosses. Jerks are everywhere. And like we opened up with, like, not every salesperson makes a good manager. Okay. Yep. And that's 9 times out of 10, that's what you're going to find. And you're going to have to be able to work with that. If not, you're going to excel through the company really quickly, or you're going to open up your own business, or you're going to leave and go to another organization where you feel valued and heard. And there's clear expectations. Like, if you're one of those, like, hey, just check the box. You want me to key in the call. You know, what do you want me to do? You want to come in? You want to punch? You want me to talk to 10 customers? You want me to make 4 closes? Boom, I'm done and I'm out.
Yep.
Transactional, great, but you have to have an understanding of what that is.
Exactly. Now,
Yeah.
work from home.
Oof.
Phew, hot button. Work from home. You know, a lot of people leave because they want to work from home.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of the statistics have shown that the work from home model does work.
It does.
So why are so many people being brought back to work?
Because they ain't doing their job. Just code violations. I'm listing all of them. You're not showing up on time, not logging in on time.
Yeah.
It could be space, like as a company, you know, we have this building and we need to use it, so let's just get it in. Tax write-offs for the, you know, for the company as well when you're actually in the building so many hours or utilizing it so many days a week.
Yep.
What else? I don't know. I'm guessing. I haven't done any research. This is just me talking.
I think a lot of it is the immaturity of management who seeks out control as a way of producing productivity.
Damn. Micromanaging.
That's all it is. If I can't see you in person, if I can't reach out and touch you, I should not assume that you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. And there are a lot of managers that are like that. I would venture to say the vast majority are like that. I got to see you. I got to make sure you're doing things because I got this control thing that I may not even know I have. But a lot of managers want to exercise that control over people. I need to see what you're doing.
Yeah.
You ever believe in trust? Maybe if you get to know people and trust them and they trust you, you may not even have to worry about that. So bringing people back into work
is a sense of control.
Yep, that's all it is, control. And corporations are very controlling. And that's something you just need to be aware of. Now, you may not like it, but try and understand it. You know, again, these are people that, you know, they may not have the highest IQ there is out there. And where you think it's a no-brainer, to them, it may not be. Okay? And then you just have to learn how to work around that.
Yep.
Okay?
Knowing is half the battle.
Yep.
It's like knowing how to work around it, knowing that exists, and not taking it personal.
Yep.
It's hard not to take it personal if I'm working from home and my manager wants me to come in. I'm going to be a little PO'd about that, to be honest. But it kind of is what it is. And once you figure out what your manager, if they're that micromanaging type, you got to figure out what it is that they need. Right. Their mental checklist, so you can have that stuff locked and loaded, so they can stay off your case. Like if you're in a situation where you can't move up, out, or around, and you can't necessarily afford to leave that job right now, you got to figure out how to make it work. So how can I make it better? So instead of like
don't give them a reason.
Yeah, don't give them a reason. Like, well, it says in the handbook. That don't mean it. They ain't gonna do it. It just means it's highly suggested that they don't. You know what I mean? Because then you have personalities, you have ego, you have bias, you have all of these things that come into play, and now you've become the target because you decided to be extremely vocal, or not. You became like a recluse, and you want to hide because you don't know how to deal with difficult conversations. Right. It all comes back full circle to the communication and expectations, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it does. It does.
What else you got here?
What else we got here?
Poor communication, lack of recognition, micromanaging, and unfair treatment. Yeah, I'm going to sip on that one.
That's just...
It's a slippery slope because what do? Technically, you want to be a snitch, right? You want to go to HR and say, hey, HR, all of these infractions are happening. Oof. It's, you want to go to HR, but now you became the town snitch.
Yeah. It's not going to work.
It's like the HR's in
Think
place.
Retaliation doesn't happen? Bullshit.
Oh, please.
Happens all the time. It's very subtle. Very subtle. Yeah. They're very skilled at it. The thing you got to realize is these corporations, especially the ones that have been around forever, they have got this down to a science. Yep. And it worked for them. That's why they're so big and they keep growing and all that kind of stuff. But you have to be smarter than that. Yep.
Play the game.
You got to play the game.
If you do not want to play the game, do not, you figure out something else. You might be an entrepreneur at heart. Yeah. And you got to make it work because in corporate, you have to play the game to be successful. I'm not saying you have to compromise yourself. I'm not saying that you have to minimize your moral compass and do things that are, be you and find the right fit. But you need to be okay with having difficult conversation in a nice, healthy balance,
Right.
a way you articulate what your viewpoint is
Right.
without making somebody feel stupid, bad, or not a good Christian.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like,
yeah.
at the end of the day. So it's a balance, and that takes time.
Yep.
That takes time.
And you got to realize people are people.
Yep.
Okay,
Regardless of title.
whether they're inside the company, outside the company. Now, you wouldn't go to your mother and have a discussion with her and start bringing up all kinds of things that trigger her.
Yeah.
You know what triggers her. Same thing with the boss.
Mm-hmm.
You know what triggers them. So don't bring that stuff up.
Yep.
Okay? Because you're not going to win.
Yeah.
Don't
And
think you're going to
well,
win.
I should be able to. Yeah, you should.
Yeah,
Come on
yeah,
now.
yeah.
Let that
Do you
go.
do it with your mother?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
People are people. So all this translates from personal to professional.
Mm-hmm.
All of it.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things that I truly believe, I was taught this years ago by a pastor when I was working under him to become ordained, Pastor Silver. This guy, incredible guy. He was probably about 85 years old when I was talking to him. The wisdom in this guy. Some people you talk to and you're just like, oh my God, this person knows a lot. I better soak all I can up. This guy, we got to talking about people and their issues, because we all have issues.
Yeah.
And I remember he told me, he goes, Rich, this is one thing you got to understand. He goes, all of life issues comes out of one of three rivers, or multiple ones of these three rivers.
Do tell. I want to hear about these rivers.
And they are rejection, self-esteem, and abandonment. Those three things: abandonment, rejection, self-esteem. And just let that marinate for a couple of seconds. All of life issues come out of that. And when I thought about that, and it took me a while to take that in, I'm like, I think he has something. Because my management style, what I adapted was, I need to be looking for these three rivers in a person while I'm talking to them. Now, I'm not interrogating them. I'm just listening.
Because it will come out.
Yeah. So if someone writes me an email and I don't get back to them timely enough, and they got abandonment or rejection issues, what am I feeding? I'm feeding right into that. And now I'm trying to get performance out of someone that I'm damaging.
Yeah, not even realizing.
Not even realizing it. And I truly believe that, because when you look at self-esteem, if a person doesn't have, quote unquote, good self-esteem, how do you approach them? You approach them differently than you would someone who's solid, And you got to know these things. And it works both ways. Don't think it's just the manager that's, got to look at that. The employee has to look, okay, my manager, I know he's got a thing going on about this or that and other thing. And when you get into conversations, this stuff will come up. I know more about people's personal lives than anybody in their family. And I didn't ask not one question about it. But there was that trust and that respect. And they just like to bounce things off of you. They need to get it out. Most of the time they answer their own questions. But they need a safe space, like you said. And if you listen, you will figure out where these things are. Now, if somebody's telling you, my wife, she's always late and this and that, and my kids, I'm trying to get, ding, 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 ding. They got to think about time. They got to think about time. So don't you be dilly-dallying and step on that. Now you got an issue with it. So, it's almost a job within a job, so to speak.
It is. And you have to natively be equipped to pick up on the signs,
Mm-hmm.
and not everybody is equipped to pick
Yep.
up on the signs, or no, they feel like they don't have to. Like, these are the expectations. This is what I'm going to do. But again, at the end of the day, we're all human beings.
Mm-hmm.
We all act and move a certain way, and both parties, employee or organization, have to recognize that to really optimize the human capital. Otherwise, it's just a waste, and everything's done in almost in vain.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I'm here because I'm good enough. I'm here because I'm this. Like, but you ain't happy,
Right,
and I triggered
right.
you because you have a time thing, and I didn't even know it. So that key of being curious and listening
Mm-hmm.
is really, really essential, ultimately, for the success of for all parties involved.
Yeah. Because if you don't, I mean, you always have options. If you
Yeah.
don't, guess what suffers? Your health.
Your health. We're back to that again.
Back to health.
Stressing the body.
Exactly. And then, workplace occurrences of stress are high on the list.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? It's high. And we've already talked about what in previous episodes what stress will do to the body, or how it affects digestion.
Mm-hmm.
Then you got all this stuff going downhill. Plus, you still have to deal with the job. You still have
Now
to
you got
deal.
anxiety about dealing with the job,
Yep.
about
Yep.
having difficult conversation,
Yep.
about
Now you start missing work
Yeah.
because my
Yeah.
stomach's
Now-
upset,
yeah.
or this or that.
now
Now you
worried about people looking at you different because you didn't show up to the meeting because you were supposed
Yep.
to be part of the team project and you weren't there.
Yep. Yep.
Now your money is funny because you're out of sick days. Like, now you got this whole psyche depression thing because your money ain't right. And
Yep.
Your mood is funky. It's not that serious, y'all.
Yeah. And then let's.
It is that serious. It is
Yeah.
that serious, but it's not. Like, you have options and you have more
Yeah.
control over than you're taking.
Yep.
And sometimes it is just having a sit down conversation that's not so emotional.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more logic with a little bit of empathy and sensitivity rolls in there.
Right.
And that just
right.
takes practice. Like,
Yeah.
I've heard a couple things. One of my dear friends says, have difficult conversations sooner. Do not put it off.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to do it in a way where it's not so emotional, where you're taking accountability of how you feel when XYZ happened. Not, you did this to me and you did it. Like, no, that's not going to work.
Yeah.
Like, you have to take some ownership in behind that part of it too.
Exactly. So, again, we'll roll it all the way back around to expectations.
Mm-hmm.
Got to have the correct expectations. And, some jobs are good, some aren't. Some people like what they do, some don't.
Mm-hmm.
Some have to do it because of whatever reasons. But the thing is, you have to look at it in such a way of, what am I expecting? What are they expecting from me? And how do we meet somewhere along that path?
Yeah, you have to recalibrate that.
Yep.
Once it's like any relationship. Once you guys meet and you have these conversations and hopefully have some clear expectations. And if you don't, ask more questions.
Yeah,
Be curious.
yeah.
Well, why is it that way? Okay, maybe there's a missing piece that wasn't articulated, and you can figure that out. But once you get to here, we're both meeting and we're having these, sharing our expectations, and now you got to do this. So we got to massage these fingers.
Yeah.
And the expectations of doing this, because where my expectation might be checking, as a Virgo female, I have to check all the boxes all the time.
Mm-hmm.
This person may be like, if I get 5 out of 10, I'm good. The most important ones, I'm good, right? So you have to figure out where that is and figure out how that melts together, so we can just have this cohesive mechanical thing going with a little bit of couple high fives and some laughs in between.
Right.
But you have to be willing to revisit the expectations and make sure they marry together. And if they don't, you got options.
Yeah, you got options.
But you got to be honest with yourself.
There it is. Got to be
and
honest.
having difficult conversations with yourself as well.
Yep. Is this for me or is it not for me? Can I deal with it, or do I choose not to deal with it? You do have those options, but you've got to make the best of it. And hopefully you understand a little bit more of where people in general are coming from. We're not perfect. No one's perfect. You need to give a little grace to folks and realize that your expectations may be too high. Now,
And your expectations are not their expectations.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have them as high as you want to,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean they need to meet you there.
Yeah.
If he thinks his 5 out of 10 is 100%, then that's 100% for him.
Yeah. With me, personally, I use a limbo stick.
Yeah.
I get that thing
lower
about
it,
3
lower
inches off the ground.
Yeah.
And there are my expectations.
Yeah. So you're easily impressed.
Easily impressed. But I haven't set myself up for failure.
Yeah.
So if they don't meet it, it's low. But again, hopefully you got a couple of nuggets out of there. I mean, we could go on and on with this stuff.
We touched on. Yeah.
Anything we missed?
No, the biggest the tie-in was the stress in the body afterwards. We went over. Yeah, we I think we covered it.
Okay.
I mean, if we really want to go into like deep diving more on the health aspect and how to deal with toxic people and poor culture, that's a whole nother segment that we can talk about. But it's keeping the main thing, keeping things in perspective, pivoting when you need to, but really understanding where you're at in your deal breakers, and then having difficult conversations sooner.
Mm-hmm.
But at the very top or bottom, however you want to say that, very top of the list is the expectations.
Yeah.
And communication.
Yep. I think we have similar management styles, but one thing that I do know that is point on for both of us is unconditional acceptance.
Yeah.
Gotta have it. I don't care what the person's like.
Yep.
Not asking you to like it, but you gotta accept them where they're at and who they are at that point in time.
And that's hard for a lot of people because we have so many unconscious biases that we have lying deep in our, sometimes it's just on our face, right?
Yeah.
But there's so many reasons why we don't believe in a certain ideology, or and just because I don't agree with it doesn't mean I have to respect it. And I have to treat you like I would want anybody to treat myself, my children, somebody that I cared for. Because at the end of the day, we're all made in the image of, like I haven't, I talk to God all the time, and he, she, they, we talk all the time, and everything looks different for me. Everything is different for me versus anybody else. And when you have that commonality of like, I'm going to respect you until you do something so egregious where you might have to get the backhand. We want to make sure that we're respecting people's positions. Right. Nobody's asking you to sign a petition or donate to their cause. You can respectfully agree to disagree, but in a work professional, whatever, we have to figure out a way to do it. Yeah.
And with that, I think that's a wrap.
Yeah.
So until we meet again, stay
it.
safe out there. Follow us, like us, keep those comments coming, and we appreciate you. Peace.
Toodles.